Ndinoda kuti nyika isiwe vanhu vangu inguva yedu hatingatadzi kubudirira Mwari ari parutivi pedu rambai muchirwa
My hitters don't die, the real hitters gon' shine and my people gon' line. Cause we're born to win it. I ain't saying
how the hell do I not have a deal? I swear this thing is a real dog. I play it fan off, the cowards that they can't feel. The wife try to console me like it's coming, baby, chill. She don't understand. I'm the only one that's real. I remember the third grade. Them kids, they had waves. I had them BDBs. You know that Zimbabwean bread. So they do shades and your boy hit the stage. Press play and all the chicks was like, yeah. While boys was moving bricks, I was moving chips. If she gave me calculus, gave her a mouthful of it. Heat rose to this thing, boy, I bet on myself.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. We got a Black Star Power episode in the works for you this Wednesday because I'm so Julie, because she made it work for us. We got Jordan Markus in the building, one of the cast members from MJ musical. I'm so excited to be able to talk to him. We were trying to bring this to you earlier in the week, but I'm so glad we made it work today. And Jordan is actually in the building with me right here in the telling us all about his journey in the theater, musical theater, and what we can expect out of the show. So I'm so glad that he is here. I'm talking about MJ, y'all. Michael Jackson, the Michael Jackson, one of the most iconic pop stars in the world. So this is a show that you definitely don't want to miss. I can't wait to get into it with Jordan later on in the show. But of course, it is the top of the show. You to go ahead and tag and share this stream. Just participate with us. Tag and share the stream with folks who you feel could benefit from a daily dose of dope right here on the Day. Surely listen to us. We still have you covered. Just find us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Search Converge Media Network and the Day with Google, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Apple Music. I mean, whichever platform is your favorite. Go ahead and search for us and you will find it's there. Well, before I get into it with Jordan here, I want to say, when we support the shows that come through our city, that come through our state, to come here, let me tell you, because the word spreads, y'all. It's like a word of mouth thing, right? Where there's these different stops that any type of show can make on its tour. But when people in the industry response they receive from the audience in Seattle, trust me, it makes more people want to come to Seattle. So I am telling you right now, a responsibility. Almost like, I mean, it's something that you get to enjoy, but it's also, we get to show up and show out for these amazing performers who come to our city, who come to our state, so that more of them will want to make this a mark in their tour. So let me just tell you, I'm so grateful to the amazing venues we have here that make it open and great spaces for hundreds and thousands of audience members to participate in these shows. Because when you are at a live show, they are experiencing the energy makes the show better. This is coming from somebody who's done live theater herself. Let me tell you, I have my own experience of this. Theater is so different because in a film, you don't have nobody cheering you on, right? Maybe the crew at the end of a great take, but trust me, there's something so special about us being a part of these live performances that come to our area. So MJ the Musical is one that you get to go to, but there are plenty of shows, especially during the holiday season, that are, try out some new things. If you've never gone opera or ballet, try it. The kids get out for winter break. It's a great time to fulfill the time with some good family fun time. And there's some amazing shows out here where you get to participate, come on in and be a part of these amazing audiences break, I'm going to give the time. I'm yielding more time because up next, we got Jordan Markus Power episode indeed. Y'all do not want to miss what he's about to share with us right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day. Okay.
Prosperity in Black America. What will this require? Is Black business prospering? Are we reaching women and minority-owned businesses? How do we achieve earning parity for wealth for our families? Do our children really have access to education? Will our families have choices for our children? Prison pipelines, mass incarceration, tearing our families apart. A healthcare system not accessible to the masses. The disproportionate termination of Black women from corporate America. When will we actually begin to address what's really at play? How do Black people gain more power to help make these changes? This requires a lot of political will and courage. I'm that provocateur of change. I am Cindy Bright. Welcome to Heartbeat.
Kick off the holidays with Irving Berlin's White Christmas at the Fifth Avenue Theater. Music, dancing, and a real snowfall at every performance. Buy tickets now for the whole family. White Christmas at fifthavenue.org.
Oh, welcome back. I'm like, oh my gosh, real snowfall. Now I want to go to White Christmas. Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday, and now I get the time and the pleasure to introduce y'all to Jordan Markus, one of the cast members from MJ the Musical. What's up, Jordan?
Nothing much. What's up with you, Trae?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you so much for joining me here in the Black Media Matters studios today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, I know you have a busy schedule, so I'm going to try to make sure we can wrap this up. But I am so excited. I mean, we're talking about Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
This is one of those iconic stories that I think a lot of people, they know everything about because there's been so much media on him. But tell us, before we get into the show, about you and your beginnings into musical theater.
Well, I started musical theater. My first production was in high school, so I was a bit of a late bloomer. But I was playing sports all throughout school, and in like my junior year, I sadly got injured. But my friend convinced me to audition for our school show, even though I was really reluctant at first, because I think it was Bring It On, the musical. And I was like, I don't want to be a cheerleader. What are you talking about? But I auditioned, and I ended up having a really, really good time. And I just kept going with it after school.
Yeah, the fun thing about it is that once you're kind of bit by that theatrical bug, that thespian bug, there's something about it because every show provides something different. You get to actually explore different parts of yourself. You found that to be true for you, where, you know, each show kind of allowed you to bloom more and more?
Oh, yeah, 100%. That's definitely true. Every show I do, I find a new part of myself that I could just tap into whenever I feel. You know, I learn so much about myself with each new script that I read or each new character I get to play. There's always something super out there that like I would never do, but like I can dive into because of this character. And then I'm like, oh, I actually enjoy this. Like I could add this to my daily life.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
start incorporating some of those lessons learned personally. Well, I know for me, there's always been something so special about every cast I'm a part of, right?
Oh,
Because, you know, you spend all of this time rehearsing, you know, scripting things out, blocking the stage, just so many things that you do as a team. Tell us about how that's been for you with various teams, and then lead us up to this team specifically for MJ the Musical.
Well, man, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, the casts can really make or break your experience in a show, as I'm sure you know. But thankfully, I've been blessed with a lot of really talented, really kind people in all of my casts. Like dating back to high school, like they were all so supportive and just so loving and amazingly talented people. And that includes MJ the Musical. Like this tour is stacked with some of the most talented people I promise you have ever seen in your life. It's insane the amount of talent that just like travels with us on a weekly basis. Like it is so inspiring to see every night, honestly.
I'm telling you, I have been pretty thoroughly impressed with Broadway Across America and just the level of talent that I have seen. I am always like, oh my gosh. I mean, you're talking about folks who really understand not only themselves, but how to really dive into the character. And it for me, as someone in the audience, there's always this proper exchange that is happening in a live show. As I was kind of talking about in the beginning of the show, like there's something so special about how each character is feeding off of the energy, the oohs, the ahs, the shouting, the clapping, like how every character is really feeding off of that from the audience. How have you experienced that with this tour specifically?
Oh, well, yeah, you said it best earlier in the show. Like that energy from the audience, there's nothing like it. Like you don't get it in film, as you stated. Like it is really half of the show for us. Like we give our whole selves over to that audience, and then when they give their whole selves back, it is such a beautiful exchange. Like it makes the show so much more fun. Like it is so fulfilling to just have fun with people who have never seen it or people who have seen it a million times and still love it. Like it's just such a fun time, and we're all there together to just have a good time.
You know, that's something so interesting because I'm not always one that likes to see things over and over again. But Julie can attest that I have been like, there are certain shows that I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to come back. I got to see it again. Because sometimes it's a different character or a different actor or actress playing someone, or sometimes it's just I'm getting more and more out of the story by seeing it several times.
Yeah.
And that's for me, that's like something that can't be replaced, right? Because it is so intricate and nuanced. And I love those details about it that I get to kind of walk away with myself. And so I'm excited because I'll be seeing the show tomorrow. Tell us more about the role that you play here in MJ the Musical. I know you're also the understudy too, so sometimes you got to be MJ himself. Tell us more about your experience in the roles that you're playing in this particular musical.
I cover MJ and Michael. We call him Middle Michael in the show because he's like in between Kid Michael and like big dangerous 1992 version of Michael. So covering both of those roles is no small feat. Like it is so tough, but also really rewarding. It's so much fun when I get to put that wig on and those loafers and just step out and just do what I've loved since I was a kid. Like I've loved Michael for a long time, and being a standby and understudy for this show is probably the hardest show. Even like I want to speak right now to our swings and understudies on this show. They have to know so many tracks. They have to download so much information, and they do it so seamlessly. Like you said earlier, like the combinations of like cast members you can get on a nightly basis is insane, but they don't miss a beat. Like you would never know that they weren't on stage every night. So, yeah, having to do that and just going for this show at a moment's notice is crazy. It's insane, but it is also so much fun and seamless.
Well, you really hit something that we have never really touched on with anyone else coming from Broadway Across America is understudying a swing role. I mean, I don't think that people who are not in the industry, they do not understand you have to be able to embody multiple characters and be ready to play whatever character it is that night and show up and show out in ways that are seamless for the audience, right? And it's so interesting because we were at a show recently and it was like somebody like looked through and they're like, oh, the guy who's playing the main character is actually like the second understudy. So it was, but you wouldn't have known the difference, right?
Know.
Because again, hitting every note, every key, being so on point with the choreography and the role, bringing it out so we can all experience the character is so true. So I love that you said that, because I don't think people realize.
Oh
like,
yeah.
you have to know a bunch of different lines. I mean, one person who's like, "This is who I'm here to play," that's all they got to worry about.
Right.
But for understudy or swing, like, you got to be ready at the moment's notice. So I love how you pointed that out. And kudos to you for being able to do that. I mean, you talked about this, somebody you love since a kid. You start in high school with musical theater.
Mhm.
Probably never thought that you would play Michael Jackson. So just
Never.
tell me about how that is settling with you.
Oh my gosh. 9-year-old me is screaming every day. Like, it is so surreal. I remember the day that he passed, my family being so distraught. Like, my aunt and my mother were sitting in front of the TV just like, and I was like, I didn't really know who he was. I was 9 at the time. I was like, do we know him? Like, is he my cousin? Like, why are y'all so sad?
Right.
But after that day, I just dove into his material, all his videos, all his songs, and I just fell in love. I'm like, oh, this is why, like, he touched the world in such a beautiful way with his art. It's like, us as artists, we can only aspire to be that connected. Like, it's so crazy. So yeah, being able to play him in any capacity has been the best time of my life. Honestly, it's so fun. I'm so, like I said, 9-year-old me is screaming every day. It's so fun.
Oh, I really appreciate that. My son is 9, right? And he'll be in like a week or two. But it's so interesting because he is such a huge Michael Jackson
Oh
fan.
my God.
And I really carry that with my mother, because my mom is just huge. We're all like love Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
But my mom and my dad really ushered that in for him. And so I found him like studying Michael Jackson videos on YouTube. And the idea that we now, with all the digitization, we
Mhm.
have access to like his whole catalog and all of the videos, and watching my son like dive in. Michael Jackson's music was timeless.
Yeah.
And that's what it really reminded me of. It like brought that back into fruition for me, because I'm now seeing my youngest son be so inundated with all of the Michael Jackson like memorabilia, like moves. I mean, his characteristics, like all of these things really hit the world by storm since he was a young child.
Yeah.
Right. So I love that this story, you said there's a young Michael, y'all go through it. What are some of those peaks that you're really excited for the audience to get from this musical itself?
Oh, I'm really excited for the audience to see, like you said, we flash back to all the Jackson 5 days. We get the off the wall Thriller days, which is where Middle Michael comes in, and all the big hits. Like, you're getting all these gorgeous numbers, these beautifully crafted, just well executed pieces of art from Michael Jackson and from Christopher Wheeldon Nottage. Like, this Tony Award winning musical is exactly that. Like, it deserves all the praise. And it's such a stellar show. And like, the show primarily is set in 1992, like around his Dangerous World Tour. That's where it is. And flashback to the I'll Be There, it's the ABCs, we get the Thrillers, we get the Wanna Be Starting Somethings. Like, you get everything from this show. It is so spectacular.
I was thinking to myself, like, with someone like Michael Jackson, it's almost impossible to capture everything in like a 2-hour show,
Oh
right? Like,
yeah.
it's almost impossible, but it sounds like this musical is doing its job. And as I shared with you before, I'm not one who likes to go and like look at YouTube videos of the show. I just want to get there and see it. So
Yeah.
tomorrow night, I get to be really surprised by everything that comes my way. So far, I don't know where this stop is on the tour for you, but so far, how has the audience been receiving you all on
Oh,
stage?
the audience has been insane in the most perfect way. Like, it's a huge party. Like, you're gonna come laugh, cry, scream, dance. It's so much fun. You're gonna learn a lot also about Michael, about who he was as a person and an artist. Like, you really get everything you need from the show, plus more. I think the audiences are really surprised with the storytelling aspect of this show, because they come expecting, like, the Billie Jeans, the Beat It's, but with that, you also get a story about who Michael was at this time in his life and who he was before that.
This is really interesting for me, Jordan, because as I was kind of sharing, you think about someone like Michael Jackson, and we seen so much media on him. There's been different documentaries and books written and different, I think, era of his life that have been spotlighted in a multitude of ways. So when I thought about like, wait a minute, this is someone who a lot of people come in and they know everything already. And I realized that through the musicals that I've seen that are specific about certain people, like I learned so much with the Temptations. I was just like, wait a minute, what? I mean, and even my grandmother was there with me at the show. And she even like, what? And she lived through this all of this, and the Temptations, like one of her top favorite groups of all time. And even in the musical itself, which first off, the brothers put on a real show. I mean, seriously,
Oh yeah.
we're like, how do they do it all? But even she was impressed by some of the things that she learned. So I really appreciate how theater, like the theatrical performance of a lot of these main, groups and icons, that I was like, wait a minute, I didn't realize this. There's always something that like golden nugget that happens on Broadway that maybe just wasn't captured in some of these other things. And I'm looking forward to that because that for me is like another thing that I get to walk away with as an audience member. So you probably experienced. I want you to just tell us some of those moments that you've been experiencing with audiences where they're like, wow, what? Like, y'all experiencing that?
Oh yeah, every night, every single night. Like even coming into the show, like I said, was a Michael Jackson fanatic. Like I used to study everything this man did, and even I came into this like, wow, I did not know. I never knew why this happened. Like I knew that this happened, but like when, where, why did this? Like we get these aha moments from the audience, and it's so fun to see, honestly, because it's always like around the same times. We're like, wait for it. There it is. Yeah. So we definitely have some aha moments in the show where you really learn why Mike did a lot of the things that like we know that he did, or even some things that we didn't know he did. You're like, oh wow, that's okay. So that's Michael Jackson. That's kind of who he was as a person. That's why he was this way. That's why he did this thing. So yeah, this story is filled with a lot of tidbits of just Michael's life and his personality.
This for me is really, it's an intriguing part of musical theater in general, and really understanding that there's always the person behind the icon, right? And sometimes that's what I feel like we get from these stories is we're trying to weave through all of these elements of Michael's life that then get us to the main story about, who he really was as a person, which sometimes isn't always captured in everything because there is so much glitz and glamour around him. But it was really, I think over the things that I've been able to see, one of the things that really stands out to me is that he was one who really tried to keep his private life private, right? Like as much as he's doing all of these things, he's a huge performer, world tours and everything. There was always this kind of element of him that was like quiet, like sat in the quiet. And I think a lot of people don't really recognize that. So I'm glad to hear that we're going to get some of those tidbits in this show. Jordan, I'm just elated that you were able to come and give us some more insight into this and into you. Kudos for all the hard work you've been putting in for this show. Of course, I know the show is starting this week. I'm going to be there tomorrow. I'm excited to be there. I'm excited to root y'all on. Look right here in the camera. Let them know how they may be able to follow you and your journey as you do more and more shows, and also where they can get their tickets.
All right. Well, you can follow me on Instagram or any social media at Jordan Markus, Jordan Markus. And you can get your tickets for MJ the Musical at stpresents.org. I'd get them now if I were you. Get them fast before they go.
Right. Get them fast before they go. Oh, wow. Jordan, it's been a pure pleasure to have you here
Thank
in the
you so
Black Matter Studios on the Day with Trae. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Trae. It was fun.
Absolutely. Wow, y'all. Look, we just got a little bit there. So, you're going to get the most by getting your ticket. stgpresents.org. Get them today. He is right. This is probably one of the shows that sells out quickly, and especially during this time of the year where people are looking for that love and that injection of energy that you're going to get at this show for sure. I'm going to wrap it all up right after the short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Habari Gani. My name is Noni Irvin, and I am the creator and founder of Kanara Park Kids, as well as the president of our sister nonprofit, Black for Charities, a 501c3 fiscally sponsored by Shunpike. Together, we are hosting the Kwanzaa Awards because it is important that we acknowledge and recognize the contributions and efforts of individuals and organizations who are showing us what the Kwanzaa principles look like throughout the year. The nomination window is open October 1st to November 30th, and yes, you can submit more than one nomination. Eligibility is simple. Individual award recipients must identify as Black, African American, or Pan-African, and organization award recipients must be 100% Black owned if for-profit or 100% Black led if nonprofit.
A world of wonder awaits at Pacific Northwest Ballet's The Nutcracker. Treat your loved ones to the Northwest's favorite holiday tradition at Seattle Center's McCall Hall. Visit pnb.org.
A new COVID vaccine is here. It's designed to help prevent the COVID variants that we're seeing spreading now. Even if you got COVID before or got COVID booster shots and the vaccine, it's important to get this new vaccine. It's safe to get the COVID shot and the flu shot at the same time. Get both to prevent serious illness this fall and winter. Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. What an amazing episode today. Huge shout out to my guest, Jordan Markus, one of the cast members from NBA the Musical. Y'all want to get your tickets. I'm telling you, I'm so inspired by all of the performers, amazing folks who come here on The Day with Trae and share their journey with us, but also give us some insight to these phenomenal shows that we get to see at dope venues. So shout out to SCGE Presents because they are always bringing these amazing Broadway shows right there to the Paramount Theater. If you do not have your tickets, you definitely want to get them now. I'm telling you, because you're going to experience some amazingness in this show. I can guarantee you that. I really have yet to ever be disappointed with any of the shows that have come Broadway across America. So make sure you get your tickets today. And of course, y'all, I was inspired by what Jordan shared. I want you to be inspired. No matter what it is that you can be doing to make the world better, to see yourself as a part of the solution, to be engaged in your community, your neighborhood, in your city, your town, your county, your state, please do it. We will all be better for it. You know that, right? I know it. So just do it, right? Whatever it is. And again, thank you all for watching The Day with Trae. It's such a pleasure to have y'all join me on this journey as we utilize this platform to continuously elevate amazing folks doing amazing things. And for y'all, until tomorrow at 11 a.m. Peace.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.